The city's terrified. A rideshare serial killer is stalking car drivers and dumping their bodies. They're calling him the Dark Passenger. But what if that name wasn't just symbolic? What if Dexter isn't just hunting this killer? What if he kills him and takes his identity? Because that might be the exact moment Dexter crosses paths with the billionaire puppet master of this season, the man fans are calling the Collector. This isn't just a fan theory. Episode 2 quietly lays the groundwork, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with what we know. There's a new serial killer operating in New York, one who targets car drivers. Victims are being dismembered and dumped. The media has already given him a nickname, the Dark Passenger. That's not just a nod to the past. That's a signal. Because in Dexter's world, the Dark Passenger isn't a killer. It's a concept. It's the name he gave to his own inner voice, the urge to kill. So when the show introduces a real-life murderer using that name, it's not a coincidence. It's bait. And Dexter, he's taking it. In episode 2, he makes it clear he wants to go undercover as a car driver to track this new killer. But let's be honest, when Dexter tracks someone, he doesn't stop at surveillance. He gets inside their mind, follows their patterns, and then he ends them. But what if this time he doesn't just kill him? What if he takes his place? The theory goes like this. Dexter finds the Dark Passenger, the real one, the killer terrorizing rideshare drivers, and he kills him. But instead of walking away, he takes his clothes, his phone, his car, his identity. And that's when things escalate, because the original killer wasn't working alone. He was being watched by someone powerful, by someone rich, dangerous, obsessive, the man we believe is orchestrating the entire season. Peter Dinklage's character, known only in leaks and theories as the Collector. A billionaire who doesn't just admire serial killers, he collects them. And now, he thinks Dexter is one of his. This explains everything. Why Dexter ends up entangled with 6 new killers. Why he's drawn into a hidden network. Why he's being invited to a twisted game he never agreed to play because he assumed a mask. And that mask was already under surveillance. And now the Collector wants to meet him. Think about it. A rideshare job gives Dexter full access to the city. He can follow leads, enter gated buildings, cross paths with anyone. It's the perfect cover, not just for Dexter, but for the kind of killer the Collector is recruiting. And once Dexter slips into that role, he can't just walk away. The Collector believes in chaos, in survival of the fittest. And now that Dexter's wearing the face of one of his players, he has no choice but to play the game. This twist wouldn't just give Dexter a new identity, it would give him a new mission. Because for the first time, Dexter isn't hunting one killer. He's infiltrating an entire ecosystem of them. And here's the most disturbing part. To survive this world, Dexter might have to kill without the code. He might have to pretend to enjoy it, to kill in front of others, to become the kind of monster he always told himself he wasn't. All while the Collector watches, and maybe even tests him. What happens if one of the 6 killers grows suspicious? What happens if the Collector sets Dexter up? This isn't like the Ice Truck Killer or Trinity. This isn't a one-on-one showdown. This is Dexter entering a world designed by murderers, for murderers. And the irony? He got there by trying to be the good guy, by eliminating a threat, by doing what he's always done. But this time, there's no exit plan. This theory makes sense of everything. The billionaire connection, the multiple killers, the name Dark Passenger. It's all pointing to a single truth. Dexter didn't just return. He walked straight into the Collector's trap. If this twist hits in episode 3 or 4, you'll want to say you saw it coming. So smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Dexter is already playing someone else's game? Because if he really becomes the Dark Passenger, it won't be long before he's the one being hunted. The body was chopped into 9 pieces, just like Dexter used to do. Only this time, it wasn't Dexter, it was Harrison. If you think Harrison left his father's legacy behind, episode 1 of Dexter, Resurrection just blew that theory apart. Because now, there's a killer out there following the code. And it sure looks like Dexter's son just became the next Bay Harbor butcher. But wait, wasn't Harrison the one who pulled the trigger on his own dad? Didn't he reject the code? That's what makes this so haunting, because what started as a goodbye may have just turned into a rebirth. When Dexter wakes up from his coma, 10 weeks have passed. The last thing he remembers is being shot by his own son. Not out of hatred, but to follow the very code Dexter taught him. Now, that same son has disappeared, vanished from town. No one knows where he is, not even Dexter. And then, the body shows up, chopped into 9 pieces, bagged, disposed of. Just like Dexter used to do. This isn't a coincidence. The victim, a repeat sex offender who slipped through the system, the kind of target the code was designed for. So who else could it be? Harrison learned that method from one person, his father. And this isn't just Dexter speculating. The episode deliberately builds the case. The kill matches Dexter's pattern, the victim fits the code, and the city, New York, is only a 4-hour drive from where Harrison was last seen. There's even a chilling moment where Dexter admits,
"And it was when I killed Kurt I taught Harrison how to cut up a body into 9 pieces.
That line hits like a sledgehammer, because it reframes everything. We're not just watching Dexter recover, we're watching him realize he might have passed the worst part of himself down to his son. And the haunting twist? Harrison might actually be better at this than Dexter ever was.
You think Harrison's following in your footsteps?
I mean, body chopped in 9 parts, stuffed in garbage bags, and the victim being what he was.
Let's break that down. In true Dexter fashion, the show doesn't spell anything out, but it gives us enough puzzle pieces to build the picture. Harrison left town without saying goodbye. He took Dexter's truck. He hasn't contacted anyone. And the moment Dexter hears about the body chopped into 9 pieces, he knows. He feels it. You can see it in his face. It's not just fear, it's guilt. Guilt that this all started with him. Guilt that teaching Harrison the code didn't stop the darkness. It focused it. There's a voiceover that drives this home.
But when you tried to be normal, people who didn't deserve it found themselves equally as dead.
That's the paradox of Dexter's legacy. When he followed the code, he believed he was saving lives. When he broke it, innocent people died. But now, Harrison might be walking that same tightrope, only this time without anyone to guide him. And that's what scares Dexter more than anything, because the code was always about control, about balance. And if Harrison is out there hunting without those rules, he could become something far worse. Near the end of the episode, there's another disturbing detail. Dexter learns the NYPD is already investigating the murder. They've found body parts. They've launched a task force. And if Harrison really is behind it, he's already made mistakes. Dexter's voice turns cold.
And if it is Harrison, he could be in real trouble.
This isn't a proud father watching his son follow in his footsteps. This is a man realizing he might have created a monster. And the cruelest irony? Harrison might think he's honoring his father, because what if Harrison didn't pull the trigger to end Dexter's legacy, but to inherit it? The final few moments of the episode are intentionally slow. Dexter, still limping, still broken, prepares to leave the hospital. He's not hunting a killer, he's looking for his son. But there's a sick twist here. For the first time, Dexter might not be the most dangerous Morgan. The Bay Harbor butcher was terrifying. But imagine someone younger, stronger, untethered. Harrison was born in blood, too. He saw his mother murdered in front of him. He lived through trauma, foster homes, the same violent urges. And now, he's alone. The show wants you to ask the question, but is afraid to answer it. What if Dexter's son is now the perfect killer? This season isn't just about Dexter's resurrection, it's about Harrison's transformation. And if episode 1 is any indication, the next Bay Harbor butcher isn't coming. He's already here. If you're hooked, hit that like button and subscribe, because this season just turned into a bloodline war. Everyone's talking about how Harrison killed. The 9 pieces, the clean disposal, the code. But that's not the twist, because the real question is why he did it. Episode 2 just quietly planted something darker, a motive that has nothing to do with justice, and everything to do with revenge. And if you caught the clues, you already know. Harrison may be rewriting the code. On the surface, this looks like Harrison following in Dexter's footsteps. But if you look closer, it's clear he's walking a very different path. And it all starts with who he chose to kill, and how he reacted after. When we learn the victim was a repeat sex offender, it's easy to say, oh, okay, Harrison followed the code. Clean kill. Fits the criteria. Case closed, right? Wrong, because something about this kill feels off, and Dexter sees it too. From the second he hears the words 9 pieces, his face doesn't light up with pride. It drops in horror. Why? Because it's too clean, too deliberate. Harrison didn't just kill to protect someone. He wanted that man to suffer. Let's rewind. Earlier in the episode, Harrison plays the role of a charming young hotel worker. He's got a GED, a job, a life. Everything seems normal until one moment when a drunk man drags an unconscious woman down the hallway. Harrison sees it, stops it. There's a confrontation, tension, violence. Dismembered, discarded in the exact method Dexter once used. And that's the twist nobody is talking about. Because yes, this mirrors Dexter's code, but this wasn't a carefully stalked kill with weeks of preparation. Harrison didn't build a profile, research evidence, or weigh the morality of what he was doing. He reacted. He saw someone about to hurt a woman, and his rage boiled over. Dexter's code was methodical, controlled. Harrison's kill, emotional, fast, personal, and that's what makes it so terrifying. Because when Harrison helped kill Kurt Caldwell back in New Blood, it was different. He hesitated. He needed convincing. He wanted to believe in the code, but he wasn't sure it fit him.
Like father, like son.
Now, there's no hesitation. In fact, he's confident. Too confident. He cleans up the mess. He leaves almost no evidence, just enough to make the NYPD chase shadows. And the worst part? He looks completely at peace with it. So again, the twist isn't that Harrison killed. It's that something in him changed. This wasn't just about justice. This was about control, about anger, about proving something. Think about his environment. New York City. Nobody's watching him. No father hovering over his shoulder. No guidance. Just freedom and darkness. He's still a teenager, but he's already calculating. So what pushed him over the edge? Let's talk motive. It's easy to say he was protecting someone. And yes, he clearly stepped in during a dangerous moment. But when you compare his actions to Dexter's early kills, you notice something deeply unsettling. When Dexter is lying in that hospital bed, he's haunted by the possibility. Did I create something worse than myself? Even Harry, the father figure who invented the code, appears in Dexter's mind to warn him, not to justify what happened, but to challenge it.
Well, Harrison's lived a pretty fucked up life. Thanks
Harry
to you.
doesn't say, Harrison is following the code. He says, your son needs you. That's not a compliment. That's a warning. And it's all building toward one terrifying idea, that Harrison didn't kill because of the code. He killed to feel something, to process the pain, to punish the world that abandoned him. And once that feeling sets in, that power, that release, it's very, very hard to walk away. This is the twist the writers planted. Not that Harrison is the New Bay Harbor butcher, but that he might not care about rules at all. And the moment Dexter realizes that, everything changes. Dexter's finally starting to recover, his body's healing, his instincts are returning. But emotionally, he's more lost than ever, because this isn't the son he tried to raise in New Blood. That version of Harrison was angry, yes, but still reachable, still searching for identity, still unsure if the darkness inside him was real. But now, the mask is gone. Dexter says it himself. I taught him how to cut a body into 9 pieces. He didn't just pass on a code, he passed on a blueprint. And Harrison took that blueprint and ran. So what happens now? Dexter's worst fear is unfolding in real time. His legacy isn't being honored, it's being weaponized. And there's something else eating at him, something he doesn't say out loud, but we can feel it. Harrison didn't just do this without the code, he did it without Dexter. No guidance, no hesitation, no fatherly approval. He made the kill, covered his tracks. He doesn't need Dexter anymore. And that's the most dangerous version of Harrison we've ever seen. The final scene of the episode lingers on Dexter, staring out, unsure if he's chasing a killer or being hunted by one. Because the real twist isn't that Harrison killed again. The real twist is that he might never stop. And worse, he might not want to. Deborah Morgan is dead, right? Then why is the internet convinced she's coming back again? A new theory just exploded online, and it might change everything we thought we knew about Dexter. Resurrection. Let's start with what we know. In New Blood, Deborah was already dead, but she still returned. Not physically, but in Dexter's mind. A hallucination, a dark echo of his conscience. And that's what's making fans suspicious, because now it's happening again. A trailer drops, a single line from Dexter, a shadowed figure, no context, no face, just enough to set Reddit on fire. And you know what they found? A theory that might be the craziest and most convincing one yet. What if Deborah is still with him, not just in his head, but guiding him, judging him, maybe even saving him? Think about it. Deborah was always the one person who could break Dexter's walls.
Did you kill all these people?
The voice in his ear, the anchor to his humanity. And in New Blood, even in death, she kept pulling him back. Now here's where it gets wild. Some fans believe she'll return again as Dexter's full-blown moral compass in Resurrection, a recurring ghost, a force he can't ignore. Why do they think that? First, the symbolism. Second, the trailer clues. And third, Jennifer Carpenter herself. Her name hasn't been confirmed, but it hasn't been ruled out either. That kind of silence, it's almost too loud. And let's be honest, Dexter is unraveling. The dark passenger isn't his only enemy anymore. The real battle? It's between who he's become and who Deborah always hoped he'd be.
Actually, yes, we believe that's our killer signature.
Is Deborah really coming back? Or are we just haunted by her? The same way Dexter is. One thing's for sure, this theory has gripped fans harder than ever before. Now it's your turn. Do you think Deborah's coming back? As a ghost, a flashback, or maybe something even darker? Drop your theory in the comments, because Dexter Resurrection premieres July 11th, and Deborah Morgan might not be finished. Dexter Resurrection isn't just a cool title, it's a chilling clue. A clue that hints at Dexter's darkest transformation yet. But what if I told you that the word resurrection doesn't just mean Dexter survived? It means something far more disturbing, something spiritual, biblical, and inevitable. Dexter's story has always walked the tightrope between sinner and savior. But with this new chapter, the title doesn't just tease a comeback, it signals a rebirth, and not the hopeful kind. In Christian theology, resurrection often means redemption, rising again after death, cleansed, whole, transformed. But Dexter Morgan isn't seeking forgiveness. He's not becoming something better. He's becoming something worse. Let's go back. Dexter faked his death in the finale of the original series, running off to live in isolation. But Dexter, New Blood pulled him back into the cycle. Violence, secrets, loss, and ultimately, death again, this time at the hands of his own son Harrison. So how is he back? That's where the resurrection symbolism takes a dark turn. In religious texts, not all resurrections are holy. Some are cursed. The undead, souls brought back not by grace, but by vengeance, obsession, or unfinished sin. In that sense, Dexter isn't rising like Christ. He's returning like a ghost, a haunting, a man who can't die until his purpose is complete, even if it destroys him and everyone around him. And it's not the first time the show hinted at this. In Season 6, there was an entire arc about religious killers, a doomsday killer obsessed with revelation, and Dexter himself confronting faith, mortality, and what comes after death. He even asked a priest if someone like him could ever be forgiven. He never got an answer. So when the new series calls itself Resurrection, it's not just about plot, it's about fate. It's about a man who can't stay buried, no matter how hard the world tries. But here's the real twist. Dexter's resurrection might not be physical at all. What if it's spiritual? What if Harrison, his son, now carries Dexter's darkness? What if the resurrection is happening through bloodline, not body? What if the monster didn't die, but simply moved on? The title could be a warning. Dexter isn't back, but the dark passenger is. So the next time you see the words Dexter Resurrection, ask yourself, who's really coming back? Because sometimes what rises from the grave isn't the man you remember. If you want more deep dives like this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. What do you think resurrection really means for Dexter? Drop your theories in the comments. I'll be reading everyone.